All right, we'll start the meeting
I don't have any secrets.
with the pledge to the flag. I'll say it, and you guys can all follow along with me. We've got a flag, so I will stand. Back up a little bit. Now I actually better get it like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Well, I want to welcome everybody to our virtual Zoom meeting here, live on Facebook as we speak, our June 4th meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from May 21st, 2020?
Move.
Andy?
Second, Ruth.
Any questions, changes? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Move on. We don't have citizens' comments. Trustees' comments. We'll start with Andy.
I'm all set. The short agenda is fine with me.
Bruce?
I'm good.
Ruth?
Agenda's great, thanks.
Shep?
Agenda's good.
Megan?
Just the agenda.
Mark?
It's unanimous. Agenda.
That's it. Good night, everybody. All right, I have a few comments. We are in phase 2 of our restart. It was a little rocky last Friday morning when we thought on Thursday it was going to start Friday morning, and then the governor played puppeteer, and about 1 o'clock he announced that the international inspectors had checked the numbers and phase 2 could begin, which was kind of too bad for some of the businesses that had people coming in at 7 o'clock, the hairdressers and stuff. But I think they're all happy to be started. We did get notice yesterday. The governor sent out a note at about 10 minutes to 3 that restaurants could serve people outside. If they have tables on their property, can serve people like normal with 6 feet between tables, and masks for all the workers and masks for anybody who's waiting to be seated, that type of stuff. So it's on the agenda tonight that the Angry Garlic is applying for a waiver of the open container law. We did that last year for them. It was very successful. I checked with the chief yesterday. He said that there was not one complaint that he was aware of about anything that happened at the Angry Garlic last year, that it went off smoothly, that they monitored everything very well. The way Jeff does business, I would expect that with the stipulations that are in place, he would be on top of all that. Greg sent me a message today that he has been talking with other businesses that are trying to figure out ways to take advantage of it. Some have an easier task than others because it's hard to put tables out on the sidewalk and then tell people who are walking through that you're only going to be 2 feet away from a bunch of people sitting at a table. That, if you're worried about the virus, that makes it a little uncomfortable for people. So Greg is trying to work with everybody. Ryan McMahon sort of insinuated yesterday that he might even come up with an executive order that all the mayors could tell the business owners to do just what we're doing, work out with the codes officer or whoever, and avoid going in front of the planning board or whoever different municipalities might require them to do. So we'll vote on that tonight. I told Jeff he could watch the meeting, and as soon as he heard the vote, he could then start serving people outside. At this point, everybody's still doing pickup and takeout, delivery. So let me see what else. All of our departments have worked up a safety plan. The one that was presented by the state, which has several pages of stipulations, and you check off and explain some of them that maybe you can't do it exactly the way it's described. And so we are all trying to work to keep our workers safe and do everything we can to keep them from harm. Next, We had a rally / protest on Tuesday that was organized by a high school student, Jaden. And she worked with our police, with Lieutenant Lockwood and Chief Leffencheck, came up with a plan. Tuesday at 2, they met at the square, went for a couple hours there, between there and walking on village streets. There was a video on Facebook. I think Shelley Hoffman had posted quite a bit of video. Looked very organized. I know that Lieutenant Lockwood said before the meeting started that it went off without a hitch. There were no problems. The chief had told me the same thing the other day. Saw a lot of people on Facebook commenting that they were very proud of our students, our teenagers, for being able to do something that didn't result in property damage and that type of stuff. So hats off to Jaden and the people that she had helping her, and hats off to our police department for giving her all the help she needed to get it done. There's an issue keeps popping up on Facebook, and I've gotten a couple private messages about the fishing on the bridge. The biggest problem being the garbage. It seems like we're maybe filling up the garbage cans quicker than we normally did because more people are out on the streets. I went by, I don't know, Thursday morning, and both cans were heaped to the top, and there was stuff on the ground and in the street. Saturday morning, I went by, and there was nothing. The cans were empty. The street was clean. It looked good. Now, I don't know if it goes day to day, mess to clean, but I do know that I asked the chief, and I, again, just mentioned it to Lieutenant Lockwood, that I appreciate when the police stop by and visit with the people and kind of remind them that the little styrofoam cups they got should go in the can at the end of the bridge. We have a can on each end of the bridge. They're worm containers. They don't need to leave them for us. We have no use for them. Put them in the cans. Saturday, I saw Officer Thibault on the bridge with 2 soda containers in his hands, heading to the trash, and he was talking to a couple of the fishermen. So I was very happy to see that. People have said, well, we should stop fishing. Just stop the fishing. There's no use for it. Been going on that bridge as long as I can remember.
State bridge.
Hmm?
It's a state bridge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't. We have no control.
So, Lieutenant, just a thought when you're talking to your officers, that if they see people fishing and there's garbage on the sidewalk, if they just pull over and that's going to be picked up, right? You're not going to leave it when you leave. And just nice little reminders.
Yeah, no, after you spoke with the chief, he gave it to me. I had the sergeants come up with a plan. They're going to come up with they're basically using the same plan as we had last summer. When we see fishermen on the bridge, we're going to stop, have a conversation with them. Obviously check fishing license. Usually if we stop on one side, the people that either are littering or don't have fishing license or whatever kind of make their way and scoot off on the other side. So usually if we have a couple people, we'll come in from both sides. And it's just education that, basically, if you like this spot to fish, you want to continue to fish here, we're not asking a lot, just pick up your garbage. And so mostly everybody's been receptive. And so hopefully, like last year, after we ended up educating people, it seemed to help. So hopefully this year it does the same.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Question, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
My recollection is that fishing was only allowed on the west side of the bridge. Is that still the fact?
Yep.
I did notice people on both sides. I don't monitor it daily, but I happened to drive by one day and noticed people on both sides of the bridge fishing. I think it would be a good idea to keep one side open so that pedestrians could pass through there if they want to without having concerns about getting hooked or being too close to people without masks or something.
No, you're right. And then there are signs on the other side. that
My
say-
understanding is those signs were put up by a former village employee without any authorization.
I can't, honestly don't know.
Me
I know
I
there's
don't know.
signs.
Yeah, there are signs up there, and anytime that we drive past and we see somebody fishing on that side of the bridge, we end up having them either leave or just move over to the other side.
Okay. That's fair enough. Now, the reason I was going across the bridge on Saturday was we didn't have our parade this year, which it's kind of one of the highlights of our year, the Memorial Day parade, but we did have an observance that started at the post office, at the monument in front of the post office, stopped at the bridge to drop a wreath in the river, went to St. Mary's Cemetery, and then over to the Riverview. And about an hour total. And it was very well done. It was nice that for the people who really feel something special about Memorial Day, we did have an observance, and they can watch it on PAC-B. That was very well done, the editing and stuff. It's only 25 minutes long to watch, and everybody did a terrific job. Hats off to the two commanders of the VFW and the American Legion, and I know Linda Ross and her hubby were involved because they were at all the sites. We missed our parade. It was, at the time we were out, Saturday was absolutely perfect for a parade, but it was also perfect for what we were doing. So it was nice that we could remember those who've given their lives for our country. Let's see. Steve, I didn't know if you were going to mention, we had put a couple things on Facebook for you this week and on our website, the paving schedule and the island. You want to wait till it's your time up and talk about it, or you want me just to mention it, or?
You can mention that. The only thing I was going to mention is that they're both on our website and Facebook page.
Okay. So for you people who are wondering where the paving will be done this year, Steve has put a plan on Facebook, the Bville Village site, and also it's been put on the website by Mo, and you can look and see what days they're going to be milling your street and what day they're going to be paving it. Within reason, if the weather intervenes, it might be a little delay, but pretty good idea of when you can expect delays on your street. Also, we posted that there are no concerts scheduled for the summer. They've all been postponed until next year, and no fireworks. I've been getting heat about fireworks. I don't understand why the village can't just do fireworks. Don't let anybody come and watch it. So there you go. Don't let them on the island. We can block the island.
Let me guess, was it someone who lives on the river and has a front row seat anyway?
I'm guessing somebody that's pretty close, but when I talked to the chief before, the Rotary was looking for ways to take some of the stuff that they do at Seneca River Days and work it into individual little events that maybe would, be a brightener for people in the village. And one of them was possibly doing fireworks with nothing else attached. And I remember the chief saying, we just can't put something on that's going to invite people to come into our community in big numbers. And if you've been around for fireworks, there's a lot of people who are not from the village of Baldwinsville who are lining the bridges, who are at Mercer Park, who are on River Street. They're going to find a place to watch the fireworks, and they're not going to worry about how close they are to people or whether they have masks, that type of stuff. So for the time being, things may change. I mean, we're going in possibly into phase 3 in a week. Who knows whether we'll get the okay for fireworks starting July 1st. Maybe we could put on fireworks before the summer's over, but at this point we can't. So in case anybody asks, we can't. Don't forget to vote on the school budget, on voting for 3 new school board members. And on the back of the ballot is the library budget vote, which could very well be overlooked if I didn't say that to you. So you should have gotten something in the mail. They sent out 25,000 ballots. They had 2,500 come in the other day all at once. They're expecting a lot of ballots. So if you've got somebody you think ought to be on the board, make sure you get your vote in. Has to be in by June 9th. If you don't think you can make it in the mail, you can drop it off at the district office. Obviously, they would appreciate it if you wore a mask when you came in the door. But
They have a drop box in front of the district office.
they do have one. Okay.
And
So
if
they're,
anybody delivers it that way, it saves the school district 60 cents. So,
That's right. You're right. I heard that at the Rotary meeting yesterday when I was speaking to everybody. Bruce wore his Dodgers shirt to give me a little heat because Yankee Dodgers we were hoping would be in the World Series this year. We don't even know if we're going to play a game ever. I think that's about it. Oh, I think the Kiwanis is planning a night on the 14th of this month at the fairgrounds. They put up that new drive-in movie screen. And so they're going to offer a movie to graduates and their families. So if you know people who are involved with the class of 2020, mentioned they might want to check on it. I think that's all that I have. We'll move on to department heads. Our attorney, Bob.
I'll stick with the agenda.
Okay. Code officer, Greg.
I just want to mention that I'm still getting complaints periodically about people not mowing their yards. We've had some situations where individuals are mowing their front yards and leaving the backyards to grow wild. And we are getting some people complaining about pests coming out of those yards. So just want to remind people that the yards still need to be mowed properly. And also, I've seen a lot of people putting furniture out at the road. Want to remind people that the village does not pick up furniture of any kind. They need to contact their trash hauler to get those taken off the property.
Very good. Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
Village clerk, Mo.
I just wanted to say that we are starting to get calls for pavilion and gazebo rentals. And right now we're still putting them, we're putting them off at least for a couple more weeks, I assume, correct?
I guess. I mean, it's different in different parts of the state. And then suddenly they say no. And then 2 days later, somebody said, well, the governor said yes. So I have not heard anybody mention pavilions and gazebos at parks. We should keep our eyes open if anybody spots, a reference to that online. Make sure Mo knows. Okay.
Okay. Well, and are the restrooms are still closed then?
Yep. So the hard part is they're going to require that they be cleaned regularly, which means what? I mean, they're going to be cleaned every hour, every time somebody goes in there. So right now we don't have any answers for that stuff.
Yeah. Now there had been a scheduled Boy Scout or Girl Scout event at the pavilion with not a lot of people, but that's probably coming up in a couple weeks. So at this point, we've just kind of put it on hold.
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep track of, I keep sending, somebody said, you have contact with Ryan McMahon? I said, oh, way more than he probably wants. I mean, I send emails to him or his communications guy 2 out of every 3 days asking, what about this? What about this? Question like this comes up. Somebody on the street will yell to me, what about this? I go send a note because I don't have an answer. And a lot of times they don't have an answer either. So as soon as I hear something, Mo, you'll know.
Okay, sounds good. Otherwise, I'll stick to the agenda.
Okay. Is Anna still here?
I'm still here.
All right, treasurer is up.
Okay. All I have to say is just to reiterate that everyone should have received, including the department heads, should have received their final financials for 1920. Please look them over if you can. If you want a hard copy, I'd be happy to send one to you. If anyone sees anything that they don't feel is right for their department, please let me know right away because I am going to get everything closed out. So I just ask that everyone take one last look and Steve, I would like to talk to you, and I think between the mayor, yourself, and myself regarding your sewer fund before I close anything. So hopefully we can get together next week on that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Anna.
You're welcome.
Now we'll move on to the senior center. Ruth.
Hello. Just want to let you know that the annual report for 2019 is being emailed out to the Canton Woods board members and will go to the supervisors as well. Anna worked hard to get the numbers finished up for 2019. We do have a $10,171.34 funding gap that we need to close. So I just want you to be aware of that. Other than that, I did attend a Zoom meeting today with other senior center directors in neighboring towns, just to kind of share, touch base with how people are connecting with their folks during the time when we're not open, and talk about planning going forward. So that was helpful to have a chance to talk with my colleagues about that. Also, we're working on getting the Peace Senior Nutrition Program takeout drive-away lunch, and I expect that that will be settled by the end of this month, and we should be able to start that 2 days a week, and there'll be more details, hopefully very soon. And that's it. Thank you.
You forgot to mention that last Thursday,
Okay.
you had a birthday party for Ruth. She was very surprised. It was a drive-through with about, 20 vehicles and balloons, and she got asked to go outside and help Donna Metz carry something into the building. And when she came out, there was the police car and all the other vehicles. And so it was a nice, happy birthday for you.
As it was. And thank you, everyone that helped organize that and that participated. I truly was surprised. I was trying to cross my threshold quietly, and that didn't happen. So it was fun, and I hope it was good to see the folks too. So it was a chance for me to see the seniors, and I enjoyed that. So thank you for that.
Very good. Thank you. And Megan, you had a birthday yesterday, right?
Yes, I did.
Very good. Happy.
I wasn't trying to hide it.
No, happy belated. All right, we'll move on to Public Works. Steve?
Just the agenda. I think the items that you talked about, just to point out to everyone, paving is coming up. Check the schedule to see if your roads are being paved, and if they are, there will be some road restrictions when we do that work. And the idea that Paper Mill Island, unfortunately, concert events for this summer are all canceled. That's it.
That's, everybody else has got St. Joseph Amphitheater. Everything got pushed to next year too. So, I mean, we're in good company, I guess. All righty. Thanks, Steve. And move on to police. Lieutenant Lockwood.
Just touch on what you brought up about the protests with the students over in the square. Went off very well. And part of that was because we had a bunch of people call the police department. Just to let us know that this post was on Facebook, just to give us the heads up. We had a lot of other people just, texting us, calling the police department, emailing us. Obviously, they had a concern because of incidents that are occurring in the city. It wasn't like that at all. But we just ask anybody if they see anything on Facebook, any social media, of any protests that are going to be tried to organize around the area, just to let us know at the police department, so we can make contact with that organizer, so we can have a successful event like we did on Tuesday, if they do plan on having one.
Very good. Any questions for the lieutenant? All right, we'll move on to pending business. Nothing under pending business. We'll move to new business. Can I get a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the collective bargaining agreement between the Baldwinsville Police Benevolent Association, Inc. and the Village of Baldwinsville for the period of March 1st, 2017 to February 29th, 2020?
This is Mark. I'll make that motion.
Edie, I'll second it.
All right, and this is just catching up to the agreement that's already, we're on to a new one that we're trying to approve, but this is to make it all official. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item B, motion authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement between the Village of Baldwinsville and the AFSCME Local 2970 and New York Council 66 for the period of March 1st, 2020 through February 29th, 2025.
This is Bruce. I'll make that motion.
Mark, I'll second it.
Any comments?
Just that it's nice that it's a 5-year contract. We don't have to come back to this for a while. I appreciate the input from the DPW employees, and it worked out pretty well for both parties.
I did want to mention that the union president came in to sign it today. He was under the impression he should sign it before it was approved tonight.
Okay.
I had told them that we wouldn't sign until they signed.
Okay.
But it's still missing Robert. I didn't know he had to sign it. The
Yes.
Council 66 guy. So if you want to hold off, Dick, until he comes to town.
Well, as long as I have permission, I can
Yeah, you can do it whenever.
do whenever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Nice to have that one done. Again, thanks everybody for the hard work on all the contracts, because that's a labor beyond love.
Mark just loves doing that.
Yeah, Mark's on both of our negotiating teams, so he's a glutton for punishment. Item C, a motion to declare the following as surplus: old wooden planters that are no longer in use, and an unused refrigerator formerly used in the Canton Woods Senior Center.
Andy, I'll make the motion.
Megan will second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Carried? Opposed, I should ask. I forgot. Item D, have discussion, possible action regarding Jeff Rogers' request for a waiver of the open container law for outside dining at his establishment, Angry Garlic, from 11:30 a.m. till 11 p.m.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we did this last year. If you remember, the first time we did it, we went to 9 o'clock, and then we set like a 25-day period of let's see what happens. And he came back in at that point and said we had nothing negative, and so we extended it to 11 with the idea that we didn't want to go till midnight, because we start talking about people staying longer and longer once they get some food and they have a couple drinks in front of them. And one of the stipulations was people cannot just buy a couple drinks and go out and sit at the table. It would be in the process of a meal. So, all right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments?
And we're holding that this year as well, right? That it has to be with a meal, not just a.
Right.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Before I get a motion to pay bills as audited, anything else that we need to discuss? Board members, any of our other department heads, any discussion?
I may have a couple more restaurants that are looking to put chairs, tables on the sidewalk, obviously with a permit, and they may be coming to you with the request as well.
Okay, who do we just lose? Oh, Shep must have gone and jumped in the bubble bath. All right, keep me in touch, Greg, and you know all the rules, so you're the one that they should deal with. So.
Okay.
All right, if we have nothing else, can I get a motion to pay bills as audited?
Moved.
Andy, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Just one last thing before we go on to an adjournment is the village continues to operate. Just we don't have any doors open, technically speaking. Village Hall door is locked. Police department door is locked. If you need to talk to Greg, you call the code office and Greg will make arrangements to talk with you, whether he's out in the parking lot. If he has to take you in the office for something, you make sure you have a mask and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff that we're supposed to do. And we are trying to be aggressive in looking at things that we can do. Number one, to keep our workers safe. We got concerns with the senior center, with people just walking in, with the village hall, with people just walking in. The police department, the door used to be open. Maybe that won't be that way. I know that we're looking at some possibilities. So we are trying to be aggressive in in having a good approach and being ready for the point when we have to say, we're going to open things up. At this point, I know that the court is looking to put another drop box next to the one is there. So that would be for court fines, so that people would not have to come into the building to pay their fines. You can pay by credit card on our website, check, money order. You can take care of it without ever coming in the building. And if there is a need that you have to see Steve or you have to talk to the chief and lieutenant, that can be worked out. But right now, we're not looking for people to just drop in until we get things completely figured out. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:03?
Andy, I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. See you in 2 weeks.
Night.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Stay safe, everybody.
Yep.
Ditto.